M is meaning smile!
Ever since Qorvex release back 10 months ago during Whispers in the Walls, it seems that he hasn't really found his place in the community yet, and I think that's a shame, so I decided to put a fuck ton of form onto him and see how he is. I hope you enjoy. Qorvex is our resident cement man with a nuclear core, and he is very underrated in my opinion. I think he's Though Qorvex might not be the first choice for your common meta rat, I think that thematically they are one of the most accurate frames, like out of all of them. Like they fit their theme to a T, and I think that deserves a round of applause. Though they might be a little clunky, but they are made of concrete, so it kind of makes sense. Hey man, why aren't you using your hands? His first ability, Shrink a Pillar. Pretty much he just puts a pillar on the ground and it pulsates with radiation. Enemies in this area will become irradiated and take bursts of damage from it. Combining this with his 4 enhances the pillar, making the burst bigger. You can place 2 of these bitches and they synergize really well with this kit. His second ability, Containment Wall, is a shit CC ability, but it gives you a damage vulnerability and it lines enemies up in a line. It's really fucking bad at CC, however, it gives you the vulnerability, and with its augment that we're using, it synergizes incredibly well with this kit, pretty much putting everything together. It's like a band-aid. It works really, really well for this build, so we'll be using it. What the augment does is it pretty much just strips defenses, being shields and armor, and on top of that, it also enhances your pillars by touching it, so you have 2 ways to enhance your pillars with it. If it wasn't for this augment, this would be the easiest subsume slot of my life. His third ability, Disymmetric Guard, is pretty much just worse Overguard. All it does is it makes you status immune. It makes your team status immune too. However, in base Steel Path, at least I don't feel with at least how tanky Qorvex is, statuses aren't really that big an issue for him. So I usually just subsume this off. The main use for this would be just like protecting you from knockdowns. So, you know what I'm getting at. Finally, Qorvex's fourth ability, you fire out a giant fuck you beam that whenever it hits enemies, it primes them and they start deatomizing, exploding, doing damage around them, and if they die, they chain the explosion off to other people. This ability is pretty much just Wisp's ability, her 4, if it did 10 years in the pen and slept with your mother, but let's be honest, who hasn't? This ability is capable of clearing a fuck ton of enemies. However, you need a lot of enemies for it to be good. If you don't, it does jack shit. You also can't be damaged while you are in your 4. That's probably enough yapping about Qorvex. I think he's incredibly solid, and I don't know why he's, gets kind of a bad rap. And I'll get into the beard. However, we are going with Growing Power for her aura, with Blind Rage as well, so we're just pumping as much power strength as we can without completely getting rid of range. We're trying to balance range and strength, pretty much. All the other stats don't matter as long as duration is at neutral. You don't really feel it. So I keep duration neutral, efficiency is nuked. So this is one build where you want a lot of energy sustain because Qorvex is a hungry bitch. So you're running Equilibrium, Arcane Steadfast, and Arcane Battery. Arcane Battery along with Umbral Fiber and Umbral Intensify to boost Umbral Fiber give us a pretty large energy pool at base. If I had an Umbral Forma, I would maybe put Umbral Vitality in here as well. However, I haven't felt that much of a difference between having Umbral Vitality in here and not. I'd prefer just to have the extra range. Stretch and Augur Reach for some range. I think 175 is a comfortable mark for him in terms of range. Wrecking Wall, of course. This augment is so good for him. It feels so nice. He feels completely different without it. Before this, I was using Terrify on him, and it's Terrify. Obviously, it worked. However, you can get a lot more out of him now because you're able to strip with this. along with, you know, the pillars and stuff. We have Breach Surge as our helmet over his 3. As stated before, his 3, I don't find it that great. I think that its main purpose, at least in base Steel Path, where status effects aren't gonna kill this dude, because this dude is this tanky motherfucker, Prime Sure-Footed is just enough. And the damage boost you get from Breach Surge is fucking crazy. This plus this plus this is crazy. It's millions more damage than if you were to just use Crucible Blast with Shrink a Pillar. For our weapons, as you saw in the recording, I am using Siam. Siam is my main weapon to use with him. That's my kitty cat. No kitty cat. Don't get, no, 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 no keyboard. So we are using the Siam. The Siam just hits extraordinarily fucking hard. And that plus Breach Surge, you do a lot of damage. You can one-shot most things if you set it up right. But this is my build for it. This is my Riven. It's nothing special. There's not even a negative on it. I'm still rolling it. I'm 154 rolls in and haven't gotten anything good yet. You could just put like Prime Pressure Point there or something. That's that build. We are using Compressa alongside Siam, just for a primer, because Condition Overload is multiplicative with Siam, so having a primer is very nice. And Ceto, of course, because it's just my favorite weapon. This is my build on Ceto. I'm currently experimenting with a DOT build, so I'm using 100 munitions. I usually just do a raw damage setup for it, and that usually works best for me. I'm just experimenting right now. This is my Riven. It's nothing special either. Madarai, of course, for extra casting speed. Extra casting speed on him is quite nice, so getting it from here is good. And also the 40% strength buff. So 25 from here, plus Madarai, which is another 40%. We have a lot of strength. Nautilus is very important for this build because of how shit our grouping ability is. It's barely even there for grouping. It's there for armor strip and for the vulnerability. This allows us to group up enemies to hit with the walls. Alongside it, we have some support from Verglass. If you don't have a Riven for it, you can just put Serration there or Split Chamber. This is my Riven if you want to see it. It's kind of juiced. And here's my Nautilus build. This benefits a lot from Breach Surge as well, so you'll be seeing millions coming out from the Companion, you'll be seeing millions coming out from your 4, from Siam. All of this is just really nice for Breach Surge. Breach Surge is probably the best helmet for him in my opinion. That's the build. Before I close for this video, I have a couple shoutouts to do. Lies Midner, Otto Hahn, and Fritz Strassman, and Otto Robert Frinsk. Thank you for discovering nuclear fission. You're a real one for that. Qorvex might be very clunky and need certain maps to work properly, and kind of works bad in a squad. Despite all of that, I think Qorvex is incredibly fun, and I enjoyed my time with him. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a good day or night. Goodbye.